Good day, everyone. You're welcome to this channel. This is Grade Day Tutor. I'm a person of Ajimai Derek. Today, we are going to talk about understanding the social structure, that is in sociology. So, here, when we talk of social structure, according to Giddens, social structure is a patterns of interactions between individuals and groups. And as you write, Mills also said that the combination of institutions classified according to the functions each what performs. So here, in simple terms, all that they are trying to talk about is the social structure talks of how society is developed. If you're getting a point, think of maybe a building framework. You see, when you're having a building framework, that building framework determines how that building is going to be built. So when we are talking of the social structure talks of how society is what developed, and how is it developed? It is developed through patterns of interactions between individuals and what groups. Are we getting understanding? Great. And then here you were saying that it's a pattern and and a relatively permanent network of relationship aimed at the satisfaction of basic needs of people. So a pattern, a permanent network of relationship between groups and individuals that comes together to make sure that the basic needs of the people is being met. Are we good? And when we say that social structure is not static, meaning that the development of a society, the development of a group does not remain at a particular point, but rather it changes over time. Hope you're getting the point. And then when we talk of a social structure, it's viewed by sociologists as a social fact, meaning that when we talk of social structure, how society is developed, how society is being nurtured, it comes as a result of interrelated functions in the society. You see, you were not born into a family because you wanted to. You get it? You were born, and then you find out that you have to go to school, you have to do this, you have to do that. You find yourself in these systems. So, social facts is something you cannot escape easily because it is something that influences our behavior in the society. If you are getting the point, the family you are into, the society you are coming from, and a whole lot. Are we good? Great. So here, when we talk of the components of a social structure, what makes up social structure? What are the things? What are the important things that form up social structure? First, we are going to talk about the status. You get it? And then with the status, when we talk about the status, it's all about people within a social setting occupying different status, occupying different positions. Are we good? Great. And then here with Laverne in 1990 indicated that status is a socially defined position in a group or what? Society. So here, what the position that you are actually occupying in a group, in a society, is what we term out to be called what? A status. Are we good? Great. So here, an individual can have more than one status at the same time. So for example, a student, someone or maybe an individual occupying a position as a student is a status. You're getting a point. And then here, you being a student at the same time counts with a lot of other status as well. You can be a student at the same time, you can be the firstborn, or you can be the first child in your family. It's a status. So you can occupy different status or at a particular time. Are we good? Great. So, for example, a woman can be a lawyer, a mother, and a wife. So, all these are different roles occupied by one person. Are we good? Great. So, here, identifying one's status is some kind of important. It's something very important to get it because when you're able to identify the status of a particular person, you can determine the particular aspect that the person fits in. You get it? So knowing the status of an individual is very important because it's not just helps you to know where the person fits in, but it also helps you to know how you have to relate with people. Not forgetting the point because depending on the status of every individual depends on how you are going to relate with them. Hope you are getting it. Because of a status is being what? Occupied. Are we good? Great. And then here we have the categories of status. First, we have the ascribed status. You see, ascribed status is something that I would say automatic. You get it? The family that you were born into, you are not the one who choose to be in this family or the other. but you were born into it. So it's something that was automatically given to you, nature. You get it? So with the ascribed status, it relates to one that is assigned to an individual. So maybe this is the family you belong to, that is where you belong to, this is where you are heading to. If you're getting the point. So with this status, it is not based on your effort. You were not the one who decided, you were not the one who tried, who put in the effort to be in this family, but automatically and naturally you find yourself that you were born into, maybe that's my family, or maybe whatever family that you were born into. So that status that you are occupying in the family is what we call it the ascribed status. Are you good? Okay, so it is attached to a person on grounds over which they have no control. As I said earlier, you have no control in choosing or in deciding in your mother's womb the family that you want to go. You have no control over it. It was given to you automatically and naturally as well. So sometimes you being born a boy, you being born a guy or a lady, it is not something you choose to, okay, I want to be a boy, I want to be a girl. No, naturally designed by God. That was the status that was given to you. So we call that one ascribe what status. Hope you are good. Great. And then you see it's based on factors such as age, sex, religion, family, race, etc. Example, chief. Hope you're getting the point. Great. And then we have the achieve status. So with achieve status, it is the one that a person gets on the basis of his or her efforts. So the status that you get based on your effort, based on your abilities, is what we call the achieved. Even the topic itself says everything. Achieved status, something that you achieved on your own based on your effort. So you achieving first class, to be a first class student, is an achieved status because it was based on your effort and your abilities. I hope you're getting the point. Be an accountant, being a medical doctor, being any kind of person in life, through your efforts, through your abilities that you pass in order to get you what you have, is what we call the achieved what status. So with this one, you have control over it. You are the one who choose to what, to be this in this particular future of yours. Are you good? Great. So normally it is achieved through competition. Yeah, it is true. Sometimes the achieved status is achieved through competition. You compete with others. You compete with other individuals. Okay, I want to be this. I want to be this. So you put in the effort. You put in your abilities to make sure that what you have planned for has been achieved. Are you good? Great. So then sometimes an ascribed status can make it difficult for an individual to earn and achieve status. Hope you're getting the point, because at times naturally the family that we are born into, there are some things they won't allow you to even achieve some things on your own. You get it? So there are some family will be like, with this family no one goes to university. You get it? So it's like it's something that you were born into, the family you were born into. They are telling you that okay, this family no one's even enters the university. So it's like it becomes very difficult of the family that you were born into to make sure that you achieve something on your own. Are you good? Great. For example, if it is difficult to be a president of Ghana because one is female, then the ascribed status of being a female is limiting the realization of an achieved status. So one of the example that you can relate to is you being a female. You get it? You being a female will be like, okay, females can never be the president of a country. Hope you're getting the point. So your ascribed status, there's something that you have no control over it. It's now determined, or is now leading whether you can achieve something as you being a president or any other thing. Are you good? Great. So then we move on to another component called the master status. So there are some statuses that overshadow others. Hope you are getting the point. And then these statuses overshadow others that an individual has it as the master status. So maybe it plays the greatest role in shaping a person's life and developing his social identity. So for example, you being a police officer, you are expected to behave in some way. So it's like you being a police officer is a master status that it is overshadowing other status that you have as an individual. Hope you are getting the point. Great. Hope you are getting the understanding. Great. So this is all about the master status. Like You are occupying, so let's say you being a president of Ghana is a master status because it overshadow other statuses as well. You get it? Because it's it actually defines a particular role that you have to play in respect to the position that you have what occupied. Hope you are getting the point. Great. And here we are talking of what roles. So components of social structure. We have talked of the status. Now we are moving to what to roles. So with roles, every status has a role accompany it. Are you getting the point? Whether you are occupying the status of a student, you have a role that is what that is being ascribed or that is being defined according to the status you have what you have achieved. Hope you are getting the point. So here, when we talk of roles, roles is the expected rights and duties that is being occupant to your status as an individual. So the status that you find yourself into has its own roles and duties you have to play. Are you good? Great. So the roles played depend on the status at a given time. And so, for example, playing a role of a son at the same time, a daughter, a student, and a hall president, they are all roles. Hope you are getting the point. Depending on the status that you are occupying as an individual. Are you good? Great. Then here, we are according to roles, we have the role set. So the different behaviors expected of the occupants of a status collectively is known as a role set. So when we talk of a role set, so let's take for an individual, for like a student. Hope you are getting the point. So with a student, are you getting the point? So for example, as a student, you being a student is a status. You have a different roles. You are to perform assignments. You are to write exams. You are to do this. You are to do that. You have to come to class. So all these roles is what we call the role set. So the role set is expected behaviors of the occupants of a status. Hope you're getting the point. Great. And then here we have reciprocal roles. That is, these are corresponding roles that define the patterns of interaction between what related statuses. Hope you're getting the point. Great. So for example, reciprocal roles, you have the employer and the employee. Hope you're getting the point. The worker and the person who employ the worker. We have the husband and wife. We have the student and teacher relationship. We have the doctor and the patient relationship. So all these, we call it what? Reciprocal roles. Okay, so one role cannot be played. A student cannot be a student without a teacher. A teacher cannot be a teacher without a student. So we call this reciprocal roles. You get it? Because one cannot be played in the absence of the other. If you get both or those roles must come together to make sure that they are well performed to achieve something. Are we good? Great. So then we move on to roles expectation and role performance. So concepts under roles. So with roles expectation are socially determined behaviors expected of a person. Hope you're getting the point. So you being a police officer, we have something expected of you. You get it? Role that you must perform, role that is expected of you to perform. But with the role performance, on the other hand, relates to the actual behavior of a person in reality. So we can take the role expectation as an ideal expectation, and we talk of the role performance as the reality. You get it? So what is expected of you to perform as a police officer, but in reality is something different. Are we good? So there's a relationship between a role expectation and role performance. You are expected to behave a certain way as a police officer, but here in the case that in reality you are behaving the other way. Hope you are good. Great. So here, in cases the role expectation and role performance do not match, because what is expected of you is not in accordance of what you are doing in reality. Are we good? Great. So then, what is role conflict? Role conflict arises in fulfillment of the role expectation of one status becomes difficult to fulfill that of another status. So let's say you are a teacher and you are teaching your students, your own daughter, your own son. You get it? Even though you are performing your role as a teacher, you have to punish the student. But it becomes very difficult to do so. Do you know why? Because in as much that you are performing your role as a student, you also have a role as a mother or as a father to your child. You get it? So you beating up your child like other students, become very difficult. You feel like, okay, you have to spare this person. Do you know why? Because the person of that child or that particular child is your son or daughter. So, for example, like a police officer, you see, maybe you are performing your role as a police officer at the same time as a father, and then your son has committed the crime, and then here's the case that you have to arrest your son. It becomes very difficult because here two roles are in place. You either act as a father to defend your child, or you either act as a police officer to arrest your child. You get it? So here we call this what? Role conflict. Are we good? Great. So then let's move on to talk of role strain. So when we talk of role strain, this occurs when there's a difficulty in fulfillment of role expectations of a single status. So it mostly occurs when there are contradictory expectations. So for example, an office supervisor is expected to maintain good relationship with the workers, but it is also expected to enforce regulation that the workers may resent. So these are what we call the role strain. So it becomes contradictory because here's the case that you have to maintain good relationship with your workers. You get it? At the same time, too, you have to enforce your workers to make sure that they go according to the rules and regulations. Are we good? Great. So then, what then is social institution? Another component of a social structure. So a social institution is an essential component of a social structure because institutions are a stable cluster of values, norms, statuses, roles, and groups that develop around basic needs of society, according to Robertson. Hope you are getting the point. So social institution is very important because these stable institutions build out values, they build out norms, rules, and roles and groups that develop around the basic needs of what? Society. So let's move on to discuss some much of it. So a system of statuses and rules and regulations that are aimed at the satisfaction of a social need is what a term to what? Social institution. So examples of social institutions are the politics, religion, education, marriage, family, economy, and health, among others. All these institutions provide us some statuses, some rules and regulations that helps us to satisfy the need of the society. Hope you are getting the point. Great. So all these have social needs that they are addressing. Are we good? Great. So then, examples of social institution is political institution deals with the distribution of power and maintenance of order. So you can see that political ambitions like the NPP, the NDCs, all these helps to distribute power and to maintain what? Order. Religious institution deals with our spiritual needs. You get it? So all these institutions comes with rules and they are fulfilling a social need. They are meeting the needs of the society. Are we good? Great. And then educational institution is concerned with the transmission of culture among people in the society. You get it? So all these institutions has a role. They have, in as much as they have it, they has a role that they are playing, and then they are fulfilling the need of what? The society. Are we good? Great. Then marriage and family institutions satisfy the companionship and sexual needs of people. Economic institution is concerned with the production and the distribution of goods and services. Health institution deals with the provision of healthcare delivery to members of what? A society. Are we good? Great. So these are the types of what the various examples of societies that you can find yourself into. So features of social institutions. Features. What are the things that will classify that this is a social institution or not? First, however, generally, social institutions have certain common features. So generally, we have certain common features that we determine that this particular thing is a social institution or what or not. First, social institutions tend to be resistant to change. Hope you're getting the point. They tend to be resistant to change, and then they tend to be interdependent. So here, with the interdependence, it means that social institutions don't depend on their own. They do also depend on other institutions to make sure that their performance or their role is being what? Played. Are we good? Great. So when we say that social institutions tend to be resistant to change, all that we are talking about is sometimes it becomes very difficult. So they tend to be resistant to change. That is, social institutions don't easily change when society is changing. Are we good? Great. So then we have another feature that is they tend to change together. So if a social institution is changing, or this if a family is changing, then it has to be that the other social institution has to change. Hope you are getting the point. And they tend to be the site of major social problems. It is very true. Yes, major problems in society tends to come from social institution, because unemployment is a feature of a failure in the educational as well as the economic institutions as well. Are we good? Great. So then we talked about group, another component of a social structure. So a social structure is also made up of groups. So Robertson also pointed out that a group is a collection of people interacting together in an orderly way on the basis of shared expectation about each other's behavior. Are we good? So just a group that it involves people interacting together, having shared a common way of a particular way that they are going to live as a group or as a society. Are we good? Great. And then we talk about the classification of groups. So we have the primary group. So with the primary group, it's a small number of people who interact over a relatively long period on a direct or intimate basis. So the primary group, the small number of people that find themselves to interact over some time, over a long period on direct, that's man to man. So members within a primary group have interpersonal relationship. So for example, a family, that can be what a primary what group. Hope you are getting the point. So we have primary group, that is informal relations, emotionalism in the relation. Examples: the family, the kinship group, the peer groups, close neighborhood and groups. Hope you are getting the point. We have importance in traditional societies. So the primary group, they are the group that helps you to interact with each other relatively what strong over time. Are we good? Great. And then the secondary group, that is, it consists of a number of people who interact on a relatively temporary and anonymously and impersonal basis. So here with the secondary group, it is very difficult to identify the person that you are having interactions with. Are we good? Great. So the relation among members of a secondary group are casual and centered on certain what goals. So at times there are some people, they want to act anonymously in order to communicate, in order to share something with you. So that kind of interaction that you are having with that particular individual, we call it, or the context that you guys find yourself into, is a secondary group, because interaction normally comes temporary. Hope you are getting the point. Great. And then we move on to what can we classify is to be a secondary group? What are the characteristics of a secondary group? So how we have the impersonal relations, we have the formal relations, we have the less emotional commitment. That's examples of cooperation, government, bureaucracies, political parties. These are all secondary groups and present in large modern what societies. Are we good? Great. So what then is a reference group? So it is any group with whom individuals identify and whose attitudes and values they adopt. So here, when you say a reference group, so sometimes individuals can take up a certain group that, okay, this particular group, I am learning from them. I am adapting to their attitudes. I am adapting to their attributes, their values and everything. So in case you as an individual, you have a certain group that you are learning from. You are learning their attitudes and values and you are adopting to them. We call those groups what? Reference groups. You get it? So members therefore identify themselves with the group, and the group also influences their behavior patterns. So in as much that you are learning their values, their attitudes, in some other way, they are affecting how you are going to behave. They are affecting your behavior patterns as an individual. Are you good? Great. And then examples of reference groups can be school, club, and association. You get it? So you associate yourself with them. So and then you are learning from them. You have mass club, you have all these clubs in schools that helps us to what? To adopt their values and what? Attitudes. Are we good? Great. And then we talk of in groups. So with in groups, a group that a person belongs to and identifies with. If you are getting the point, so it is a group that you belong to and you identify yourself with. So let's say if you are looking for KSB, or we are looking for K University School of Business people, since you are a student, since you are part of them, we call it an in group because you belongs to, and then it's something it's everyone can identify you with. Are you good? Great. So members use symbols to separate themselves from others. That is good. And then for instance, there is the use of names, slogans, clothing, badges as a form of identification. So with all these groups and all these in groups, they have a special way they use to what identify themselves by the use of symbols to separate themselves from what others. Are we good? Great. And then with the in group, it talks of members view themselves positively and view as outsiders negatively. So those that are part of maybe group A, they always think that their group has the positive influence on others, and then they always think that every group that is outside their group what is like have a negative impact on them. Hope you are getting the point. So competition with those who are not members and even conflict among them at times. You get it? So if John belongs to group A but not group B, but group A is in his in group. You get it? So if maybe Adra or maybe if Derek belongs to this group and does not belong to the other group, my in group is group A because it's something I can identify myself with and it's something I belong to. So I always see my group as a positive or a group that has a positive influence on others, and I see others what negatively. Are we good? Great. So what is the importance of a social structure? It helps people to know what is expected of them in most social situations. You get it? So when we get to know how a society is developed, what are the components that form a society, it helps you, the individual, to know what is expected of you. You get it? It helps people to know what they can expect from others. So it doesn't only help you to know what is expected of you, but what is also or what you can also expect from others as well. Are we good? Great. It ensures that the general nature of society remains relatively stable from one generation to the next. And then it helps in regulating the behavior pattern of people. So this social structure helps in shaping individuals, regulating their behavior pattern, making sure that their society remains relatively stable from one generation to the next. Are we good? Great. So the out group. So we have the in group and the out group. So the out group is a group that one is not a member of. You get it? So in case you belong to group A and you don't belong to group B is your out group and then group A is your in group because it's something you can identify yourself with. And a group that does not belong or identifies with. You get it? So this brings us to the end of our lesson for social structure. So this is grade 8 tutor and in the person of Ajimine Derek. Don't forget to subscribe and share this video as well for your friends to get a better understanding. See you in the next video. Have a wonderful day.